Yesterday, we saw the JSE's All Share Index close at a new record high in the latest cover story for Finweek. We interviewed a number of fund managers on their top stock picks in the current market environment. Joining me now in studio is Finweek editor Jana Marais. Jana, it's been interesting because last week, or during the course of the week, we've seen the rand weakening. There's been some nervousness around the State of the Nation address and everything that unfolded. But the JSE shrugged it off, new records.
Yeah, it's incredible. I sometimes don't know how these things work, it doesn't make logical sense. But yes, and it seems, people are still bullish on a number of shares, and I think the preference is for blue chips that are established companies. We see the likes of Naspers, British American Tobacco, SAB Miller, the kind of stalwarts of the South African economy. And I suppose a big reason for that is because they're so diversified geographically. So it's not that they're so reliant on South Africa for revenue and income, because I think the sentiment on South Africa specifically is not quite that bullish.
Are we seeing any particular sectors, though, that people are being drawn to when it comes to investing on the JSE?
Look, I think from the fund managers we spoke to, the thing that was more interesting to me is the sectors that weren't there. So you didn't see, for example, construction, and I think with the news that came out this week, it's pretty clear that the outlook is not great for that sector. Surprisingly, didn't see telecoms companies at all, and they used to be quite, the darlings of the JSE, but I think it's tough times for them, so that fell off. And I think mining very selectively, they really...
Especially with the mining in Durban taking place during the course of the week, I'm sure that was a particular area of focus. I know with the fund managers, was this an area where people were drawn to? Or
Look, I think no, surprisingly not. You would think, because, we've heard news come out, so for example, saying the outlook for platinum is looking a lot better, yet no platinum stocks in their selections. But I think it's also a factor of, some of that positive outlook has already been priced into the shares, so we really need to see it come through in the platinum price first before we're going to see the company share prices move any further. Anglo-American was one that did come up, but I think Anglo has been through a really tough time over the last 5-6 since 2008 really. I think with Minas Rio in Brazil finally coming on stream, I think there's a bit more positive sentiment about Anglo, and that's why that's probably back in people's lists of shares to buy.
New records though, and people are saying, and investors and analysts have been saying the market is just too expensive here. Was that the sentiment that you also got when you were speaking to the fund managers, that you could really be looking elsewhere, it's just too expensive?
Not at all. I think diversification is always good, but they certainly didn't give the impression that they think that the JSE is overvalued in any way. I think the thing is really about buying very carefully. And I think the other interesting thing for me was that it's really the stock picks, no small small caps completely not on the list. It's really the big established blue chips that's on everyone's radar.